Hey, what's up, everyone? This is the demo on how to restore a photo. So first thing you want to do is save this photo here. So I'm going to make this window a little smaller here. Close that. And then I'm going to just right click on the photo, choose Save Image As there. And I'm just going to save it out onto the desktop. Go ahead and save it there. And then it's in my downloads window there. And I'm just going to drag it to the desktop there. And since it was already there, I'll just go ahead and skip that. And now that I have the photo, I can open up GIMP. Takes a little bit, of course. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up a file that's 480 by 640, right? So new, and we're going to do 480 wide by 680 high. So it's going to be longer than it is wide. All right. Click OK. There's our canvas. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the photo, and it's down on the bottom here, and I'm just going to drop it in the canvas here. Just let go, and there it is. And the next thing I'm going to do is just take my move tool up here in the toolbar, and I'm just going to grab it and move it around. You can just frame it however you want. That's probably good right about there. And yeah, that's good there. And then what I'm going to do is make a duplicate of it. Basically, I have the original here, and then I'm going to make a duplicate. So I'm just going to grab this. So here I'm just going to right click on it, and I'm going to just choose duplicate. Okay, so I'm going to right click on the layer. I'm going to choose duplicate layer, and there we have two layers. And so one of the layers I'm going to call unedited or original. Probably original would be better. So I'm going to call it original. And then the other layer I'm going to call edited. And so that's what you want to have in your project file. You want to have an original photo, and you want to have an unedited version. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in on it. So use the magnifying glass to really zoom in on it. I'm going to show you a technique where you can use the selection tools and Shift plus Alt to duplicate areas of the canvas that are undamaged and use those to replace some of the damaged areas. So here I'm going to grab my ellipse selection tool or my rectangle select tool, right? So I'll start with the ellipse select, and notice here I could go onto the, make sure you're on the edited layer. I can select an area, left click with the mouse button. Now hold down Shift plus Alt, and then left click with the mouse button. Hold the mouse button down while you're holding Shift and Alt. Drag that selection over some of the damaged area. And see how it replaces that whole area with that area that you selected. So that is a great way to just go around on the canvas and cover up areas that are damaged. So again, grab the selection tool, then left click and hold the mouse button down and drag your mouse to select an area. hold down Shift and Alt, and while you're holding Shift and Alt down, left click with the mouse button, and then drag the selection to another area. And notice there it creates a duplicate of that area and just moves it over with you to another area. Okay. And so this works really well, especially if you have a lot of broad areas where you need to cover a lot of ground. I start with this and just select, undamaged areas of the photo, and then hold down Shift and Alt, and then left click with the mouse button while you're holding Shift and Alt and dragging it over. So that's a great way to cover a lot of territory here. Okay, and you just keep moving along here. And just use that to cover up some of the damaged areas. It works really well. In fact, I would probably say a majority of my work is using this technique over any of the others, but I am going to show you some other tools as we move along. But try this with your selection tools here. Just kind of take your time. It takes a while. You want to make sure you follow the lines too, and just take your time. And the idea here is to just fix damaged areas. Okay. And again, make sure you zoom in enough if you can't see your selection enough. That's when you really want to get surgical with it. So, oops, I accidentally zoomed way in. If you actually do that, just hold the control with your magnifying glass, and that'll make it the opposite and zoom out. So control will make the opposite of whatever it is your setting is on your magnifying glass. So if you're set to zoom in, when you hold down control, it'll zoom out while you're clicking the mouse. Yeah. Okay. Just make sure you select your selection tool first. And just keep moving along here, fixing those problematic areas. Again, hold down Shift and Alt while you're dragging the selection, and you'll just make a duplicate of it and move it to another area of the canvas. So it's a great way to repair certain areas that need repair. Okay. After a while, sometimes GIMP will stop working. It'll stop duplicating it. So if that happens, what you can do is save your project, close GIMP, wait a few minutes, and then reopen it, and then it'll start doing it again. Now here I'm grabbing the free select tool. Looks like a lasso. It's like the lasso tool in Photoshop. The free select tool allows you to actually draw shapes too. So if you want to draw a shape that's similar to a shape in the photo that you want to cover up, just use the free select tool. And you can click and make individual points with it too. Here I'm just doing a once around kind of thing with it, but you can actually click and make individual points. So don't forget to click with your mouse button if you're trying to make a specific shape and make a few points on it. Yeah. Okay. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Need a little touch up maybe later, but let's see what else. Again, go back to our selection tool here and we can select areas again to cover up those damaged areas, right? So everything's looking pretty good here. So I'm just going to keep working on this and trying to fix those damaged areas in the hat. So it's kind of a good idea just to start in one area and then go from there. I'll just keep trying to cover those damaged areas up. Yeah. There we go. It's starting to come together there. You can see I've fixed a big portion of the hat there, at least initially. Okay. All right, I'm back here, and I'm going to keep going, but let me show you what I've done so far. Just using the selection tool and Shift and Alt. See, I've worked on the top area here and making a lot of progress with from the hat down to the collar. And again, that was just using the selection tools as well as Shift plus Alt, right? And zooming in, of course. So you can see there, like in the canvas too, there's some darker splotchy areas that I need to fix. In that case, I might want to use what's called the dodge or burn tools right here. You have the smudge tool, you have the blur tool, and then the dodge and burn. A dodge tool kind of will make things lighter. A burn tool will make things darker, of course. So in this case, looking at some of these areas, I probably going to want to use the burn tool. So, and again, those can be found there in the blur, what looks like the tool that looks like a teardrop in the toolbar. So I'm going to go over there and where it's where the blur tool is here, right there, and left click and hold the mouse button down. Okay, and you can, there's the healing brush there. And to use the healing brush there, you can hold control down and click an area, and what that'll do is it'll use that area to heal other areas there. And notice there, it's not working real well here. It's producing some undesirable lighter effects there. So I'm not going to use the healing brush in this instance, but I will use it later. So Control Z, Control Z, Control Z to undo that. But what I do want to use maybe is the dodge tool. Okay, so dodge and burn tool. Once you select the tool, then you want to turn on your tool presets, and that's your tool options window. It kind of looks like a television set up there in the upper right. If you don't see that though, you can turn it on under Windows, Dockable Dialogues, and then just select Tool Options there on the top. Oops, I went too far. Dockable Dialogues, Tool Options, and that'll come up. It looks like a little television set. Click on that, and there you can go down and just double check to see if you're on Dodge or Burn. And notice there we're on Burn, so we want to change that to Dodge to lighten things, right? And some of the other settings you might want to adjust. Ooh, look at that. It's way too extreme, right? So you may want to go up top to the sliders up there where it says hardness and force. We're going to bring force and hardness down. And then once you do that, then you can just kind of subtly go over areas. Now, notice there it's subtly lightening up that area and kind of helping you get rid of some of those sharp borders. But you want to be careful not to overdo it. But it's just a way for you to kind of remove some of those really sharp, darker areas and kind of blend them with the lighter areas a little more. So the dodge tool can help you blend some of those areas that you duplicated that are kind of looking obvious, I guess. Blur tool is also good for that, but that you have to be careful how much you use the blur and the smudge tool. But then you can go back and change. You can change it over to burn and darken those areas again. But the idea is to get rid of some of those sharp borders as you go along. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now we'll go back and grab the dodge tool again, and again, just trying to take away some of those sharp borders where you see some of the obvious banding from editing or using the healing brush or anything like that. Okay, and it just takes a little while. You just got to practice and take your time. Okay, and so that's a really neat tool. Okay, let's see what else we can do. Again, we can use the healing brush as well. Hold down Control and click an area, and then just go around and add that area to other places. And notice here it's not really doing too much, probably because the hardness and force are down. So I may have to click many times in order for something to happen. And there you can see it is kind of working, but very slowly and subtly. Okay. I think you'll find that it does have its applications, but here it might not be doing exactly what I want it to do. But again, the hardness and force are down. But you can see it is making a difference if I click a lot. Okay, so those tools can help you repair areas. They can help you remove sharp lines between different areas, change values. The selection tool, of course, is always good. I use this probably more than anything. Okay, so again, that's always a good one to use. Don't forget to save. I just saved it there for a few minutes. I mean, every few minutes you should save it. Okay? And sometimes closing out GIMP and reopening it will help you get your tools working again if they stop doing anything. I noticed Photoshop sometimes does that as well. So it's not exclusive to GIMP to all of a sudden stop working, right? So again, select an area, shift and alt, and then duplicate that area and move it around. And that, to me, I find works the best of everything. So, anyway, I'm going to keep working on this, and we'll see you back here in just a little bit to see how much progress I've made. Okay, what's up? I'm back here. Okay, here's the photo here, and let me show you how much progress I've made here. And turn that on. You can see I've gotten a lot of the upper half just about done. And again, that was just mainly using the selection tool and, a couple of other things, of course. And I wanted to show you this area down by the collar here. So let's zoom in. Um, and show you, if you can see, there's some spotty areas there where you can see obvious circles. And so what I want to do is I want to get rid of some of those spanning looking circles there so it looks obvious that I've done some editing. Again, the selection tool is great for that. You can use that, but I also want to show you the dodge and burn tool. Dodge will make areas lighter and burn will make areas darker. So you can grab that there under where the blur tool is, the teardrop. Hold the mouse button down, grab dodge and burn. And we'll go over to tool options here and check out our settings here. Okay. So click there. And again, if they're not, the tool options isn't showing up, go to Windows, Dockable Dialogs, click Tool Options. Okay. And there we're going to go and make sure that burn is selected. Okay. And then we'll look at our hardness and force is down a ways. That's pretty good. We can try that. And then what you do is you can use your right bracket tool to make it larger on your keyboard, or you can use the left bracket tool to make it smaller. Here I use the right bracket tool to blow it up a little bit. And then just left click with your mouse button and go over an area and it should darken it. And there it slightly is, but it's not working as well as I'd like it to. Okay. So this would take a while to do it that way. So maybe I'll go up and adjust. Or here, let's play around with the dodge tool to see if we're getting anything there. And again, it's very, very sluggish. It's not really working really well here. Okay. So we're not making much progress there. So let's go back here and we'll change it back to the burn tool. And again, we're making very, very limited progress here. Let's adjust the hardness and force here. Maybe that's going to make a difference here. So click on that. And there it's doing a little bit more, but not much. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll keep trying here. Again, not making much of a difference there. maybe a little bit. Let's bring it up even more, the hardness and force. Okay, and see if getting anywhere there. That seems to have done a little bit. Seems like it has trouble with this grainy area, but that did do a little bit, I think. And we could try adjusting these. That's highlights, but yeah, there that did a little bit. Midtones. And then you have shadows too. Just doesn't seem to like that grayscale there. That's up to 100% there. You can see there it's doing a little bit. But, theoretically, it's supposed to make things darker. Doesn't seem to be doing too much here, though. Okay. Again, selection always works wonders, too. You may want to do that. There you go. Okay. So we're moving right along here. Same thing on the other side. Maybe just make it less patchy looking. So again, combination of dodge and burn maybe, and seeing if you can make some inroads that way. But if that doesn't work, then of course the selection tool will always help you in that way too. And here it just doesn't seem to be doing much. So I'm not sure if this is exclusive to GIMP or if it's just my computer here, but the dodge tool isn't really doing it for me. So I'm looking at the settings here to see if there's anything I can change, but it doesn't seem to be making a difference. So I may shift gears here and go back to just using my selection. Okay, and here's try the healing brush here again. So I click there, hold down Control, push Control down, and while I push Control down, click, and then what that does is create an area that you can use to heal certain areas. But you have to define the area that you want to use by holding Control down first, then clicking. So, and notice here on the neck, I've got some bandying here from just duplicating that. So one thing I could try is using maybe the blur tool. So I'm going to go up to the dodge and burn tool and use blur and just try to slightly, just blur that out a little bit to get rid of some of the bandying. And yeah, it kind of works, right? I still don't like that effect though. If you really look at it, it doesn't look natural. Okay, but the blur tool is there when you need it, when you need to kind of blur something out. And try bringing down the hardness and the force as well. Okay, and you can see there it's a little more subtle, and that actually isn't too bad, but there's still a lot of banding where the jaw meets the neck here, and once you start blurring it out too much, it starts to really look edited. So I think maybe a better solution might be to try something else, but the blur tool can work to your advantage, if you use it with care and caution, of course. So I'm going to just go ahead and do a selection down here. And I'm just going to select an area with my free select tool there. And notice there you can make points like I was saying. So I'm just clicking to make points and make a shape. And once they're joined and you have a selection area, hold down Shift and Alt and then left click with your mouse button, just like you did before. And then you can move those areas up there and just kind of maybe eliminate that banding and that unnatural look. Okay. And again, just making a selection with the free select tool here. And then you can click with the mouse button and make certain shapes that way. So it's a great tool for that. So I'll drag that over maybe. And that's looking better. At least there's a little bit less of that bandying. And I'll have to fix the jaw, of course. There, it looks a little jagged up there where his jaw meets the neck. But right now, this seems to be doing pretty well under the neck. It may be acceptable. Sometimes it's just finding areas that'll work and just then applying them. Okay. So that looks pretty good there. And so then I'll have to fix the jawline here, of course. And so that'll be kind of a challenge here. But let's see what we can do here. Let's zoom in on it. And notice there, yeah, I got to fix that. So again, I'll turn to my trusty selection areas here and try to fix it that way. And just the idea is to make it smoother, make it look like a smooth jawline, not this jagged edge here. So a combination of selection areas seem to be working the best. You know, I tried the dodge and burn earlier, and that was giving me trouble. But selection seems to work pretty well here. If you're patient, you can really replace areas that way. And just take your time. Like I said, it's not a race here. Graphics is very time consuming, right? You have to be very patient if you want to do good work and really take your time. That's not to say you can't speed up your workflow by learning shortcuts, but for now, I want you to just really learn how to use the tools and take your time. And you can see there the jawline's looking much better. So majority of my work is using the selection tool like this. So I think that might help you guys too. Um, and just kind of smooth out that jawline there. Or, yeah, the jawline. And yeah, it's coming together pretty well there. Okay. And so the neck looks better as well. Get rid of some of that banding and I don't know. The grain is kind of endearing too. It gives you that vintage quality to the photo. So that's kind of nice too. And again, using the healing brush, just again click on, hold Control down and click, and then sometimes you get undesirable results. So don't worry about it if you do. Just try different areas and then move them around and see if you can fix some of that way. So the healing brush can be a great tool to repair areas, but again, you have to hold Control down first and click on an area to define the pixels that you want to use to heal an area. Okay, and here my hardness and force are down low, so it's not really having a strong effect, but if you click enough times, it'll actually start making a difference. See there, you can see it slowly doing it, but my hardness and force is down so much that you'd have to just keep doing it. And I do that because I want to do it subtly. I don't want to overdo it with one click. Um, so that's why I bring those down. But here you can bring these back up and hold Control, define an area, and then it'll start adding to the area and making a difference a little quicker. Or it's not doing much. Sometimes GIMP just stops working altogether, and Photoshop does that too sometimes. So you can see here I'm making a lot of progress here. Um, the top half I'm almost done with most of it, and the bottom half will have its own set of challenges. But you know, we will continue on our journey here and see how far we can get. Okay, I'm back here and I'll start working on the bottom half here. First thing I'm going to do is just select the top area. I know it's darker on the bottom, but I just want to get a uniform color on the bottom here. So again, I'm going to use my selection tools. Now inside the stripes, I'll probably just select an area on the in the stripes that are that's like that color, and just use my paintbrush, zoom in, and just paint those areas, the dark areas in between the stripes. But for now, I'm just going to use the selection tool here and just cover up this whole area, on the outside of the stripes. The stripes will present their own set of challenges, but just be creative with the selection tools and use your paintbrush to fill in where the color is missing in the stripes inside the stripes. But again, the selection tool here will help me cover this area pretty quickly and give me a nice uniform tone. Here we go. And you notice there, I'm just getting rid of all of those damaged areas just by using that color up top. And just click off there if you're having trouble there, and just select a new area. Okay. So anyway, you get the idea here. A lot of what I've done is just use the selection tools and then Shift and Alt. Use the clone tool a little bit, the healing brush tool. All these things can help you navigate through this project and get this photo restored in a way that looks, well, at least looks as undamaged as possible, right? So, and that's the challenge here. So, okay, so that looks pretty good. So we're going to move on. I'm going to finish this, work on the stripes. I'm going to use a brush inside the stripes, and then I'll show you my finished product here when I'm done. Okay, back here, and here's the finished product here. Here's the original, and again, if you look at the photo there, you can see it was pretty damaged, right? So again, with a little bit of hard work, and again, I used the brush in between the stripes, and just on the bottom, just copied the areas that were undamaged using the selection tool, and did a little touch up on the eye, on the neck, and overall, I think it came out pretty well. So, when you look at the two here, again, I wanted to preserve some of the grain. I didn't want to completely alter it. I just wanted to get rid of the damaged areas so the family can appreciate the vintage quality of the picture. And overall, I think it came out pretty well. I used the clone tool to clone some of the stripes and move those around too. And again, a lot of it, I used the brush in between the white stripes. I just used the brush tool, really small, and just painted in where it needed to be painted in.